there are about 5 or 6 different properties on my original family property and my wife's family property. So we manage cattle right now on 4 different farms. So part of my decisions on management have to do with moving nutrients around on those farms, because some of the properties are just for hay ground and others are for hay and pasture and feeding. So there's different things that have to be done depending on how the seasons go. On the different properties right now, including a mother-in-law's property who we also manage and care for, there's a total of about 130 mama cows right now on my family's property. My brother and I, by the way, manage this property together, and it's sort of a joint operation. Until the drought of 2007-08, we ran about 125 mama cows here, and were forced to sell a good number of the breed herd at that time. Right now, there's about 100 cows here on these different properties. Why I chose to get involved in NRCS programs initially, and what I suppose I've never told the local agent, is that when he asked, I don't think he realized he was talking to an environmentalist at heart anyway. So the things he proposed were very much in line with what I would have hoped to help do with the property anyway. We've definitely improved water quality both in the ponds and creeks that we have access to. And I had been doing rotational grazing to the extent that the water sources allowed prior to getting involved with NRCS programs. Having done a couple of these water projects in which I've put in tanks in different areas, I now have many more management options. I'm in better control of feed utilization. I'm also in much better control of herd management. I'm able to more easily control my calving season. The different paddocks just give me a much greater range of opportunity in terms of how I can contain those animals, how long I can keep animals, how I can wean animals and manage sale times. So just in many ways improved the many different options that I've got in terms of managing the resources we have. What's really impressed me too is the impact we've made on the creek. For all of this property, the only water supply was a creek way down in the corner. It was ugly what 60 or 70 mama cows and the rest would do on that creek bank. And now that's all fenced off, and if you couldn't see the neighbor's barn across the way, you'd think you were looking at the way it was 100, 200 years ago. Prior to developing these water systems and the rotational paddocks, I was basically in a system where you grew grass during the year. When the cows ate all the grass, you started feeding hay, and you fed hay until spring started producing new grass. Because of the different options that we have now, I've found that stockpiling is a much better option. Just last week I put out about 50 units of nitrogen on about 50 acres of pasture, so I'm looking at stockpiling for a good 3 months or so before some of those pastures come into need. But one thing that I've enjoyed tremendously about working with this program is the shift in my responsibilities, because I'm not a full-time farmer. I still work part-time for our school system. So I'm required to be at other places at times when the cattle need feed. So what I've discovered is that I will, in the fall, maintain cattle on paddocks where the grass is gone, and I'll roll out hay in what I call shirt sleeve weather. I'll go do feeding in October, November, when I can wear a sweatshirt to do that feeding and conditions are good, and I'll maintain these high pastures until December, January, and even into February. So what I'm doing, which is making my job a lot more tolerable, is shifting that feed burden into months that when I really don't want to be on a tractor, when it's a lot more convenient to open a gap and allow those animals access to pastures. And I have noticed too, in doing that, I think our our body condition for the herd is improved. I'm seeing, I think, due to two things. I think we've reduced the parasite load through this higher grazing, and probably a better quality of nutrition throughout the year. Record keeping, which we should be doing whether we're participating in our NRCS programs or not, helps me keep a better eye on what needs to be done in terms of individual animals and in the entire herd management. One of the things that I'm involved with too is a wildlife program in which my mowing patterns are designed to promote opportunities for animals to escape from the mowing during times that we're producing our hay crop. I have watched carefully, looking for the impact on wildlife, and I think there's some truth in it. For people viewing though, and who want to participate, and of course I'm positive that I want to do whatever I can to promote the better habitat and success for wildlife to survive. But what I've noticed too, we're in East Tennessee where fields have irregular shapes and sizes, and the mowing pattern, for example, it's a problem, it's a burden. You have to work at it to be successful, and I would caution anyone, if you have fields that don't lend themselves to the types of patterns that the system requires, probably participation is not something you're going to want to get involved in, simply because you really have to work at it. Now, does it work? I think it does, and I notice the number of hawks that follow me through the fields as I do the mowing, and I believe that we are helping what's out there. So looking at everything I've done in my involvement with NRCS, everything has been positive in terms of supporting the environment. I'm very pleased with being involved in those programs.